Hey there, knife lovers and knife hubbers. Today we have a really awesome knife right here, the Chaves Redencion Street. I want to talk about it and break it down a little bit, but first, let's take it out of this box and get a good look at it. Alright, let's get to it. The Redencion Street Gen 4 Ultramar. Ultramar, that means overseas. I had to look it up before this video because this knife is manufactured by Reate Knives in China. And it is an amazing knife. Amazing construction, quality, the build, everything. Obviously the design is amazing. It's a Chaves. You know, what do you expect? It's gonna be fantastic. The street version is the smaller version of the full-size Redencion 229. It's about 1 inch shorter in overall length, but this is really a nice EDC knife. Fits so good in my hand. I can get a great purchase on it and really get a nice grip on it. It is a perfect size in my opinion. I really love this knife. Now guys, I wish I had a Tonto on me, but this blade is, well, it's honestly beautiful. I mean, from the swedge design, that clever narrowing down to the tip, and to the hollow grind, and that belt satin finish, that grind, it's beautiful. I love the way this blade looks. The first time I saw it, I was just super impressed and intrigued, and it even looks better up close. M390 Steel, the previous generations of this knife use CPMS 35VN, so maybe a little improvement in the hardness, edge retention. You know the deal. M390 is good steel. Can't go wrong with it. And if you know Chaves, you know that they are in demand. You know that they sell fast. Before we could even get this video online, we sold out of all the Chaves we have on our website, but we will be getting more in stock soon, hopefully soon. If you subscribe to this YouTube channel and our socials, you'll get notified before anybody else, and you can maybe get there in time to snatch one yourself. So this knife's actually a lot more comfortable than it looks. Looks cool, but the sharp edges and bevels, you might think, it doesn't look like it's a super comfortable knife. It is a super comfortable knife. The ergonomics work really well. And once you get one in your hand, you'll understand. It's great to hold. It's great to pick up. It's great to use. I know a lot of you that have a Chaves, maybe you don't want to use your Chaves, but I mean, this is a knife you shouldn't feel terribly bad to use. It's you know, it's built for work. Medium weight, about 4.8 ounces. So right around the mid-range of a good EDC knife, even despite the full titanium handle. You know, it's not super heavy, but it feels solid. It's got that slight chill when you pick it up because it's full metal. Feels like you're grabbing a really solid tool. You can get such a tight grip on this thing. It's amazing, and the jimping is just ribbed enough to be effective but not too aggressive. You know, no slipping around during using, and just the right overall size to get the job done properly. Anyway, so yeah, full titanium handle with a stonewash finish. Take a look at that. It's got a nice glint to it. Really pretty. Actually, I prefer the full titanium over the G10, but the G10 looks nice too. I don't have one on me. I wish I did because, you know, I'd like to have every Chaves knife possible because they're incredible. The factory edge, by the way, on this knife is a little unreal. It is incredibly sharp right out of the box. Probably one of the more impressive factory edges I've ever found on a knife. You know, I thought Spyderco knives were sharp right out of the box, but this is, I mean, this is fantastic. This thing can do circles in paper, no problem, which is pretty great for a factory edge. I do have a 3rd generation Redencion Street. One thing to note, there's a big difference between the two thumb stud sizes. I'll try to bring this a little closer to the camera so you can see. The Gen 4 here on the right, that thumb stud is about 50% bigger than the Gen 3, which is an improvement if you ask me. A lot of people had criticisms of this Gen 3 thumb stud. They thought it was painful to manipulate with the thumb, that it was a little too aggressive. It would hurt after a while, especially if you like to fidget with it. To be fair, this one does too, but I find it easier to open than the Gen 3. I mean, once you learn, you know, really how to open this knife reliably, it's not a big problem. You know, I push up with my thumb and index finger at the same time, and it just flies right open. With this Gen 3, it's basically the same deal. You know, But even doing that just now, it does feel a little bit harder on my thumb. Like, you know, there's a little sting there. It's not a big deal. But if you're sitting there playing with the knife all day, like I do, because it's addicting, then yeah, you probably notice it. That this is an improvement. Pro tip also for you guys having trouble opening the knife: when you're gripping it, if you put pressure on this lock bar at all, it's a lot harder to open because you're fighting against that tension on the blade. So I grab it with my middle and ring finger on the clip here, and it should open no problems for you. So be mindful of that if you're having issues. Another thing to note is the size of the knife. When both of them are opened, I'll lay them out here so you can take a look. The Gen 3 is just a hair longer, and we're talking maybe 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch. The handle is also a bit wider. And I mean, it's a very slight difference. You might not even be able to see it from this camera angle, but the Gen 4 here is just a hair slimmer. Slimmer, thinner, whatever you want to say. They both feel great. I wouldn't say the size difference is an improvement or a downgrade or anything. They both feel amazing. I love the size of these. Very smooth action. If you're a fidgeter, you're going to love playing with this knife. As I'm doing here in this video, it's addicting. It's just very addicting to fling this thing open and close it. Really nice one-handed operation. The frame lock has a nice little divot in it to get your finger in there just to open it, close the knife, and then you can see that it'll kind of just close on its own weight just like that. One of the biggest differences with the two generations is the pocket clip. So apparently there were some people that wanted to remove the iconic skull carry clip. I just think it's part of the Chaves design. The carry clip's awesome. I like it. I would never remove mine, and I gotta be honest, I would rather mine have 2 eyes than 4 eyes, but to each their own. The included replaceable carry clip is pretty basic. I'll set it right on top of the knife so you can kind of see what it would look like right there. 2 holes, no skull. Boo-hoo. I like the skull. Don't take my skull away. If you do want to remove the carry clip, it's a T8 Torx screw. 2 T8 Torx screws. By the way, thank you, Ramon, for using T8 screws. A lot of knives use T6 screws, and a lot of people get real upset when they modify their knives and strip the screws. These are much harder to strip, and they're nice, and we all appreciate it. So yeah, guys, ending thoughts on this knife. I think I've said really enough great things about it. I don't have anything bad to say about it other than the pocket clip. I kind of wish it didn't have the screws. Removable is fine, but I don't like the look of the screws. I think the old pocket clip with 2 eyes just looked better. But that's such a minor criticism on an otherwise masterful knife. Working in the knife industry, I see so many knives come in and I handle them, I photograph them, I get to play with them, and I have not had one stand out to me like this, and that's why I own this knife, and I will strongly consider purchasing more Chaves knives for my own personal collection in the future, because this is just such an amazing knife. It's gorgeous, it's sturdy. I didn't mention earlier that there's no blade play in this at all. It's perfectly centered with the smooth action, locks open just right. It's just it's great construction, excellent quality. You know, I think Ramon picked a great manufacturer for his production models. Yeah, I have nothing really bad to say about this knife. It's a fantastic piece. So yeah, keep an eye out for them. Keep an eye out on the website. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time with more good knife content.